Hi, Anuj. Thank you so much for giving us your time and interviewing with us. For the viewers, may we request you to please share your journey, your story in your own words?
Sure, definitely. Firstly, it's definitely a pleasure to talk to you. So my journey actually started in 2012, when I stepped into my engineering college. And probably from the first few weeks, I realized that maybe engineering was not the best option for me to pursue. Anyway, but somewhere during that time, I realized that I do have a penchant, for everything business.
Oh,
And that is when I actually decided to, pursue an MBA even before I completed my engineering.
all right.
But then again, I was in two minds. You can either do it immediately after engineering,
Mm-hmm.
or you get some experience and then do it probably an international MBA.
Right.
I started talking to a lot of people who have done MBA just right now, people who have done MBA years back,
Right.
and overall, everyone was saying that you definitely should get some experience so that you understand probably what's happening in the MBA and you can relate it to your experiences before.
Right.
Um, so that's actually how I decided to go for an international MBA, probably even before I got my experience. I worked actually in the marketing and advertising field for about 4.5 years.
All
And
right.
somewhere after 3 years, I felt that, okay, maybe now is the time I'm ready for my MBA. And yes, that is when I contacted you guys.
Okay. All right. That's nice. So, in your opinion, what are a few
Yeah.
factors or actions you took that made all the difference?
Well, firstly, I think definitely working with Experts Global was a big factor. I'll be honest with you, at the very start, I did try to do some research on my own, understand what can be done as in terms of, essays and like, LORs and things like that. But I found it a little overwhelming. So yeah, I mean, of course, a good consultant goes a long way for sure. But
Right.
apart from that, obviously a good GMAT or GRE score makes a difference. Like I know people who probably just give it once, twice, and they're like, maybe I'll substitute with better essays and all that. I mean, I'm sure it's definitely possible, but I've seen, you'd get much better scholarships for sure. And also one more thing, which probably not a lot of people realize, at least according to me, is applying early, applying in the first rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that definitely I think makes a difference because I've seen similar profiles get probably rejected in the later rounds. And if you're an early applicant, you definitely get it. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with the benefit of hindsight, what are a few mistakes you believe you committed in the process?
I think at the very start was, going by the rankings, right, of any colleges. You just look at the rankings and, oh, I just want to get into the top 5, top 10.
Right.
Or you just feel that, a particular college is easy for you. But sometimes if you're from an overrepresented pool, and I was like an Indian male engineer, right?
Right.
So you need to be like, told that, okay, this is probably not, possible for you. It's absolutely like a dream college for you. So things like that.
Okay, all right. So, going back to your GMAT prep phase, what were the main resources that you used and what advice will you give to the future candidates?
Right. So actually, I had a GRE score from before. So in my last year of engineering, actually, I'm going to give my GRE. And luckily, this was the last year, that I could use the score and I could use it. But I did prep for GMAT because I realized a little late that my score is active.
Mm-hmm.
And I can definitely tell you what not to do because did a lot of mistakes. And if not for the GRE score, I would probably be giving it again and again. I feel that you need to have a strategy
Mm-hmm.
from day one of how you want to approach the studying. What I did was, and I was super busy with my work that time,
Right.
I just open the book and just do things randomly, do solve sums randomly, like, and not focusing on like, timing and strategy and what needs to, be done first and, things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely was a learning for me because then, you understand a little too late, probably a month that, okay, maybe the strategy that I'm using is not exactly right. So coming to the resources, I think the original guide, right, or the one that is released by GMAT, yeah,
Right.
that is definitely helpful. And I also took Expert Global's 15 test, those mock tests. Those
Right.
were really helpful because, you get a dashboard with all the details and you get told where you're lacking, where you're not lacking. So that definitely helped me improve my score.
Mhm. That's amazing. So, according to you, what is the frequency of mock tests and how many mock tests should an aspirant take?
Good question.
Mhm.
Well, I would say it depends.
Okay.
I personally am not the kind of person who likes to give tests again and again because I find it a little exhausting at
Mm-hmm.
times. And, you rather give less tests and
Right.
then look at your mistakes and properly study them
Mm-hmm.
rather than giving. I know people who have given probably 20, 25 mock tests, but then their score was never like really rising.
Right.
So I think between 5 to 10 is a good number, at least for me.
Okay.
Start out a little slow, and probably towards the end you start giving a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, more than just giving mock tests randomly, or like giving them more. One should ideally like sit back and see where that person has gone wrong, studied really well.
Right.
That definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would like to really thank Experts Global for the entire dashboard, because it shows you so many graphs. It shows you your like, if you have, you been improving, have you not been improving, what is the area where you're constantly failing. And yeah, really helped me.
That's really nice. So, what would you like to say about your experience and learnings from managing the application timelines?
Firstly, I think start early, start as early as possible, because everything takes a lot of time, and especially when you're juggling a busy job on the side or anything, like, the minor things also take a lot of time.
Right.
So that is definitely one. Secondly, overall, I think you need to be in a more realistic zone of choosing your colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you see the data on the different websites.
Right.
Like I remember looking at probably Harvard or something, and the average GMAT score was somewhere around 710, and my GRE score when converted was somewhere around 7. I was like, oh, this is not bad. Like, maybe it's possible, but you don't again, the overrepresented pool and your experience and things like that. So I
Yeah.
think that is quite an important factor.
Okay.
And I would also say that you need to know what exactly do you want out of MBA,
Mm-hmm.
as in at times, if you want to like a scholarship, like probably if you want a scholarship, you might have to take a school that is lower ranked, or that can be one. So I think having clarity of what exactly do you want from an MBA, I think is yeah, equally important.
Absolutely. So, would you like to share your interview experience with the V School?
Right, sure. So I interviewed with 3 or 4 schools in Canada.
All right.
It was a really good experience, apart from the fact that I had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for the interviews, because it was according to Canadian time. So that was fun. But overall, I think I was really prepped well. Again, the mock interviews from Experts Global really helped me quite a bit.
All right.
All the situations, and the questionnaire that shared with me, and I think again preparation there is also quite important. I remember I had like worked quite a lot on the answers, like printed it out, all my answers, and written all the data, taken things out from the internet.
Right.
But overall, I would like to say it was a very nice experience. It wasn't a grilling interview. It was more of a conversation.
Okay.
And I always find those interviews, much better,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, just, information is very free flowing. You don't feel too pressured, and it's much better. I definitely felt prepared, giving the interviews. At no point was I nervous or I felt underprepared. So yeah.
Okay. That's nice.
Right.
So, can you tell us more about your MBA journey so far?
Sure. So I haven't even finished my first year, but I'm liking it. Like, I'm loving whatever I've been doing till now.
All
It's very different from what I did in undergraduate
right.
study. So, and this being something that I like, I think I'm probably enjoying it even more. And also the fact that, there's so much more focus on practical things, right? There are a lot of case competitions that are going on. There's case-based studying. So you actually like, study a case on, see, I was just doing a case on Netflix and streaming platforms.
All right.
That you have to work a lot in groups, and everything is, I feel, just, is so involving,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's
Yeah. So,
amazing.
yeah. So I sadly did my first sem entirely online. So I mean, even still, I totally hate anything that's virtual. Like, I'm more of a person who likes things, in person,
All
but I
right.
still enjoy it. And recently, just 2 weeks back, the in-person classes started, and
Right.
it's fun. It's really fun. And I'm enjoying going back to school. I never thought I'd say this, but yeah, I am.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. So, according to you, like, how has the entire pre-application experience contributed to your growth?
I think quite a lot, quite a bit. Firstly, I think, when you're doing the applications, you are, that is the first time I've actually like, sort of thought about what I've done like till now. And, you also start planning for the future, because, not just because they ask the questions, where do you see yourself? But I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah, only for yourself as well, that, oh, hey, really, what do I want to do? Do I want to get into marketing? Do I want to get into consulting? And actually, that
Mm-hmm.
did sort of, made me think about a lot of things.
All right.
Uh, that was one. And I think the MBA journey, once it started, definitely, growth in terms of the way I think about things.
Right.
I can already see, the difference. I'm actually interacting with people from a lot different sectors and even nationalities. So they have their own experiences. So
Okay.
in that way, also, I feel I'm definitely growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice to see how everyone, gets together to help each other out. Like, there's a marketing subject right now. So, that is the time when, people come to me with doubts. So I feel really cool about that.
Wow,
And if
that's nice.
it's like, I'm always going to this one person who has completed his CFA. So it's a very collaborative and very sort of learning environment.
Wow, that's interesting. So, according to you, what are a few common mistakes that you would advise all the GMAT aspirants and MBA applicants to avoid?
Starting the applications too late.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to a few people who, had good profiles, but probably applied in R3 and maybe did not get the college of their choice. That would be one. Secondly, starting the MBA journey, I think a little late. Like, I think at least especially if you're giving GMAT, if you have to give the GMAT, probably, you have to start a year and a half before.
All right.
Because for me to, what happens is typically they say that, oh, I want to apply in R1. I'm going to start like 6 months before, and then you're pressurized to give only the first score that you get. And there's again that the whole pressure. So I feel that, having time planning your MBA journey properly, I think is definitely the way to go, because then you can say work on your GMAT. If you have particular thing you want added to your profile, say some volunteering experience or any particular kind of skill that you want, right? You can add that as well. So yeah, these two I think definitely something that people need to look out for.
All right. Okay. So, what would be your final message or suggestion to all the viewers watching this video?
So many things that I would like to say. Firstly, I would really like to again thank Experts Global, because of which this journey has been possible for me. They have been extremely helpful, extremely helpful. Like, anytime I used to call Priyanka, who was the student representative, she would always answer my questions, like, the slightest of the doubts. And I
Mhm.
think having, obviously a good consultant who, I mean, it's not just about the applications, right? You're obviously anxious about things,
Right.
in the smallest of the doubts, which might be silly at times, suddenly seem, oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Right.
So that is, definitely a thing that I would like to say.
Okay.
Secondly, this whole MBA journey, I think it takes time. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, hurry it up. So that is just one, I think, really important advice, that, don't rush into things.
All right.
Take some time. It's fine. I mean, even if it takes a year or two more, but getting the school that you really want, it's again important. And 1-2 years are, trust me, totally worth the wait.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anuj, for sharing your journey with us. And we look forward to knowing more about your success stories in the future as well. So, all the best for that.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.